Ultra Ball!
This is Tyranitar, a Pokemon known for its excellence in both formats of the competitive scene, at least until Gen 9. A Pokemon that's part of an elite group known as pseudo-legendaries whose entire deal is that they're stronger than the average Pokemon. A Pokemon that literally has Tyrant in the name, getting packed by Ash's Pikachu after being hit with only 2 moves. Now, you may be thinking to yourself that this is understandable because this is Ash's Pikachu, the same Pikachu who's taken down Regis and Latios in previous seasons. Well, first of all, don't ever let me catch your lame ass comparing Tyranitar to these bums again. But even looking past the fact that Ash's Pikachu is a substance-abusing steroid junkie, this humiliating defeat is only the tip of the Tyranitar abuse iceberg. We're going to be starting off where by far the most mistreatment takes place, the Pokemon Anime. The anime staff just seems to have this group of Pokemon that they love to beat up on, and amongst their favorite punching bags, there's Tyranitar. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't actually seen every episode of the Pokemon Anime, but I'm pretty sure that Tyranitar has lost every single battle that it's been featured in. Like, this shit is pushing immortal numbers the way that it just shows up to lose. In fact, its record against Pikachu specifically is like 0-3. That soul-crushing loss at the Kalos League isn't even the last time that Pikachu smoked that green apple flavored Tyranitar pack. Now, granted, in the next confrontation that Tyranitar had with Pikachu, it did actually put up a fight this time, but it was still sent away in an arguably even more disrespectful fashion because it had help and it still lost a tag team beam struggle fighting a move that was much weaker than the one that it was using. And the Pokemon Journey's disrespect doesn't even stop there. During one of the Project Mew missions, Gary sends out his Tyranitar to fight Articuno, a Pokemon that should have been atomized the second that Tyranitar hit the ground, only for Tyranitar to get instantly packed before it even had the chance to throw out a move. And that still somehow isn't even the worst defeat that it suffered at the hands of an ice type, because in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Tyranitar got sent packing by a group of these little bastards and this stupid bitch, all of who, much like Articuno, should have dissolved into a pile of goopy slop the moment that Tyranitar entered the scene. Instead, they used the power of friendship or something to send Tyranitar running off like a little bitch when it should have easily won that confrontation. Y'all killing me with this! This one isn't Tyranitar specific, but when I was looking for footage to put in the background, I saw a scene where this little menace throws a dirt ball that Pikachu moves out of the way of, only for it to nail Larvitar in the face. And then it starts crying. This nigga literally eats dirt, bro. He should have scarfed that shit down and sucked his little nubs clean after the fact. Pause. Obviously, if you throw food at a baby, it's probably gonna start crying. But when that baby is spawned in Earth's colon and its body is hard enough to have it classified as a rock type, a ball of dirt should be nothing to this nigga. This is literally barbecue chicken and he's crying like a little bitch. And all of this isn't even to mention how Tyranitar got ragdolled in one of the movies, had its carcass dancing over a pond like a skipping stone, or how it came out of a cage looking like this, bro. What other pseudo-legendary Pokemon are they treating with this level of disrespect? Because it's certainly not this portly, big-backed, bowling pin-bodied, bulbous, over-encumbered, obese, paunch-stomached, pot-bellied, blubber-ridden, corpulent son of a bitch. This is Tyranitar exclusive disrespect, and I just will not stand for this. Alright, so I'm way too deep into the editing of this video to go and slot this back into the journey section, but while I was editing said journey section, I noticed in the intro there's a split second of Tyranitar once again getting violated by Pikachu, which is crazy. You can't make this stuff up, bro. Overall, the anime has been insanely hostile towards Tyranitar. While the games have been a lot better towards it, in recent years things have been looking rather bleak. Tyranitar truly is a marvel when it comes to Pokemon design. Despite having one of the most vile type combinations of all time and a speed stat that's so low it makes Dave Blunt's look like Barry Allen, Tyranitar has been putting on LeBron numbers so consistently that even people who don't know much about competitive Pokemon understand that Tyranitar is just that nigga. This shit has spent more years ranked OU than years I've spent walking this earth, and it spent those years either at the top or in the upper echelon of Pokemon in one form or another. All of this unabashed glazing was to paint a picture of just how far the GOAT has fallen, with the reason for said fall being especially tragic, considering that half of it was directly caused by Game Freak either nerfing or removing most of Tyranitar's most important traits. Weather set by abilities is no longer permanent in Gen 6, and Gen 8 took away both Pursuit and its Mega Form, crippling both its utility and its power. They completely castrated this nigga, and in Gen 9, once they were finished emasculating Tyranitar, they threw its freshly spayed carcass straight to the wolves to be feasted upon like Thanksgiving dinner. I mean, the amount of new Pokemon who bully Tyranitar in some shape or form is insane, whether it be by spewing projectile excrement down its throat or just doing what it wants to do much better than it can. The new roster of Pokemon has been incredibly hostile towards Tyranitar, and to top all this off, Tyranitar doesn't even mesh all that well with the new gimmick that Gen 9 introduced, because it doesn't really want to change into any of the types that are immune to Sandstorm, but the types that it would want to turn into make it susceptible to being chipped by its own sand. Now, with all that said, there is something that I want to confess before I end this segment. Tyranitar is not all that bad in Gen 9. It's not the superstar it once was, but it's by no means an unusable Pokemon. It's actually been on the rise, in fact, because it's taken me so long to get to a point where I can actually finish this video. So Tyranitar might even end up back in OU by the time that it comes out, but we're gonna ignore all of that because it goes against the melancholic narrative that I was trying to paint earlier. Tyranitar sucks. End segment. I don't really have much to say in this outro, but I did want to apologize for this video taking the 7 to 8 months that it did in order to come out. It was not supposed to take that long, but some real life shit happened that prevented me from working on it. So I ended up going on a hiatus that lasted a lot longer than it should have, admittedly, but I'm back now, and hopefully videos will be more consistent. So thank you to the people who have stuck around. Shout out to this guy for coming out of an 8-year retirement just to steal my video idea. And to close things off, I don't care what anybody has to say. Mega Dragonite is one of the single worst Pokemon designs to ever disgrace the franchise, and whoever came up with this shit deserves to be fired.